Among the first things President Donald Trump has done upon return to the White House has been hitting some of America's trading partners with tariffs.
A new round of executive orders signed by President Trump today, this time for tariffs on goods from Canada, Mexico, and China.
Tonight, with the battle over tariffs, President Trump imposing steep taxes on the country's three largest trading partners, Canada, Mexico, and China, sparking fears of a trade war, which could threaten the global economy.
Concerns of a massive trade war between the U.S. and two of its largest trade partners after President-elect Donald Trump said on his first day in office he will, quote, charge Mexico and Canada a 25% tariff on all products coming into the United States and its ridiculous open borders.
President Trump signing executive orders imposing 25% tariffs on all imports from Mexico and Canada and 10% on goods from China.
President Trump has largely been accused of using America's economy as one of the best weapons to get things done his way. Trump views tariffs as a powerful negotiation tool that helps America gain leverage over friends and allies.
Mr. President, have you decided specifically what the auto tariff rate should be?
Yeah, I probably will tell you that on April 2nd, but it'll be in the neighborhood of 25%.
What about semiconductors and pharmaceuticals?
It'll be 25% and higher, and it'll go very substantially higher over a course of a year. But we want to give them time to come in because, as you know, when they come into the United States and they have their plant or factory here, there is no tariff. So we want to give them a little bit of a chance.
What can the EU do to sort of avoid the reciprocal tariffs that you've talked about? And, you know, you've talked a lot about the VAT. Do you expect them to reduce that?
Well, they did already, as I understand it, reduce their car tariff all the way down to what we have. And a lot of that will take place, and I think some won't do it and some will do it. But the EU had a 10% tax on cars, and now they have a 2.5% tax, which is the exact same as us. So already we've saved a tremendous amount. That would be great. If everybody would do that, then we'd all be on the same playing field. Because essentially what we're doing with the tariffs is, you know, they charge us, we charge them, same amount. And it's called reciprocal, actually. And whatever they charge us, we're charging them. And so the EU is, you know, I appreciate that they did this, but, you know, the EU has been very unfair to us. We have a deficit of $350 billion. They don't take our cars. They don't take our farm products. They don't take almost anything. They take very little. And we're going to have to straighten that out. And we will. I have no doubt about it.
You could look at the whole Colombia situation for reference.
Moments ago, President Donald Trump says he has issued his first tariff on Colombia after 2 U.S. deportation flights of undocumented migrants were not allowed to land in Colombia.
To some breaking news out of the U.S. now, and Colombia has turned back 2 U.S. military flights that were carrying deported migrants.
So, true to his word, President Trump immediately starts deporting illegal immigrants to their respective countries using military planes.
Donald Trump's mass deportation came to a house in Chicago yesterday where police took 2 men into custody, part of a wide-ranging crackdown across the Windy City as the new president makes good on his promise to round up and kick out alleged illegal migrants and send them home to countries across Latin America. But it was this footage of migrants shuffling in shackles, being unloaded in Brazil from the US, that caught the attention of Colombia's president, who in turn refused migrant planes headed to his country too.
Colombia says they are not taking any of the deportees coming in with the military planes unless they have the proper documentation to be in the country.
A migrant is not a criminal and must be treated with the dignity that a human being deserves, President Petro said on X. That is why I returned the US military planes that were carrying Colombian migrants.
Following Colombia's stance on the whole issue, President Trump issues a wave of tariffs against Colombian products, with the promise of more tariffs coming in.
In response, Donald Trump has fumed that he'd impose emergency 25% tariffs on Colombian goods coming into the United States and would raise that to 50% in a week. Mr. Trump will also impose emergency Treasury banking and financial sanctions on Colombia. We'll wait for any more word of that, but he's already reacted quite angrily, claiming that the Colombian leader is already very unpopular. So this is all in response to the deportation of illegal migrants. Just into that breaking news again that 2 US military flights have been stopped from landing and turned back from Colombia. There will be plenty of reaction to that, I'm sure.
Just moments ago, Donald Trump reacting to the news that Colombia had blocked planes carrying undocumented migrants from delivering those individuals back to their home country, and Trump now retaliating with tariffs and threats of more tariffs. He said in a post on social media, quote, "I was just informed that the 2 repatriation flights from the United States with a large number of illegal criminals were not allowed to land in Colombia. This order was given by Colombia's socialist president, Gustavo Petro, who is already very unpopular amongst his people. Petro's denial of these flights has jeopardized the national security and public safety of the United States." So he has then goes on to say that he is taking some action against the Colombian government, including a 25% tariff on goods coming from Colombia immediately, and he threatening to raise that to up to 50% next week. He also is calling for a travel ban and immediate visa revocations on the Colombian government officials and sanctions on party members and family members that support the Colombian government.
But he quickly incurred the wrath of President Trump, who said on his Truth Social platform 2 repatriation flights were not allowed to land in Colombia. So in retaliation, he announced emergency 25% tariffs on all goods, a travel ban and immediate visa revocations, promising these measures are just the beginning.
Well, Colombia responds with its own tariffs on American products, and after some non-existent standoff, Colombia accepts the deportees and the tariffs are eased.
Several hours of back and forth posturing ensued before finally the White House declared victory. The government of Colombia has agreed to all of President Trump's terms, the press secretary said. Today's events make clear to the world that America is respected again.
And so, Fred, this is an early example of how Donald Trump's immigration crackdown is already colliding with his foreign policy and trade proposals, and the first of maybe more to come.
It was the unprecedented use of military planes to deport migrants that so angered the Colombian president. But ultimately, it was the threat of tariffs on Colombian goods like coffee that forced him to capitulate. Their public spat, no doubt a taste of things to come, since Trump has threatened to slap tariffs on any country that doesn't bend to his will, even if those tariffs hurt American consumers with increased prices. The president has made clear that immigrants are going home, no matter the cost.